The perfect comparison for Tyrese Haliburton, man. After being voted most overrated player in the NBA, I'm not gonna lie. Everybody who said that needs to eat their words because he definitely has stepped it up in the clutch in the playoffs. In the clutch, key word. Now, obviously, it's a lot easier for players to be good, throughout the first 3 quarters, but when it's that fourth quarter, many players fold. But Tyrese Haliburton is quite the opposite. First 3 quarters, he won't be that good, typically. Fourth quarter, for some reason, this guy becomes prime Reggie Miller. I don't know why, but that's just the way Tyrese Haliburton works. But he has not missed a shot in the final 30 seconds of a clutch game in the playoffs. I'm not gonna lie, this playoffs, Tyrese Haliburton, clutch, no doubt about it. He's got that gene in him. But he's had this little moment in the MSG, all great. Reggie Miller pointing at him doing the choking sign. Absolutely amazing wins, and I think the Pacers will be in the NBA Finals. Just the way they won Game 1, like I've said in a previous video, it's just the way you win the Game 1 matters. And I preferably, if I was the Knicks, would rather lose by 30. But when you've got Karl-Anthony Towns and Brunson hitting, one hitting 40 and the other one hitting 35, playing your best game possible, your two frontmen, and you lose the game like that, being the first team in history to lose up 14 with less than 3 minutes to go, that just reminds me of the Yankees Game 1. Walk-off grand slam, Yankees couldn't bounce back. Same thing's going to happen with the Knicks. It's a New York thing, unfortunately, and I'm a Yankees fan. Not a Knicks fan, but I'm a Yankees fan. But the perfect comparison for Tyrese Haliburton is Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow, yes, because Tim Tebow, he was absolutely trash in the first 3 quarters every time when he would be a starting quarterback with the Broncos. Trash. But then that fourth quarter, he would come alive. And if you check Tyrese Haliburton here in the playoffs, he's even got a game where he scored 4 points. He's has the same amount of games. There's 10 games so far that played in the playoffs for him, right? He has 5 games over 20 points, 5 games under 20 points. That's not really a player that's elite, to me. To me, Tyrese Haliburton in the fourth quarter becomes elite. But throughout the game, not typically. More often than not, the role players are the ones that put him in a situation where he can actually, have that clutch shot. And he's very good. He has the clutch sheet, no doubt about it. But he's not consistent throughout the game. And you could hate on me, in the comments. But Tyrese Haliburton, is Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow has the moments. Tim Tebow has the moments against the Steelers where he throws that touchdown. First pass against, in the playoffs, to send the Broncos into the next round of the playoffs. Just like here, Tyrese Haliburton, buzzer beater against the Cavs, buzzer beater against the Knicks. He has his moments, man. But if you check every single play, he's going to have a lot of lowlights. He's going to have a lack of stats to back him up as an elite guard. He's definitely not overrated. I'll say that. I feel like he's fairly rated. Fairly rated. Because if you were going to start your franchise with Jalen Brunson or Tyrese Haliburton, I'm going to choose Jalen Brunson. I'm going to be honest. If you were, comparative guards, if you were to choose between Garland or Haliburton, as a Cavs fan, Haliburton. Definitely Haliburton, And the Cavs chose Isaac Okoro over Haliburton. He's better than a lot of guards in the league. But he's not a top 3 point guard. That's something people cannot argue. Because I would argue, just out of the top of my head, Jalen Brunson, Shy. I'm going to be taking Luka Doncic. He's, a point guard. Those guys, I'm taking over him. 100%. Steph Curry. Today, I'm still taking over Tyrese Haliburton, I'm just saying, at the end of the day, he is a great guard. He's probably borderline top 10. Maybe to some people, you could possibly, after this playoff run that he's going to have, maybe you could put him in the top 5. But I think he's borderline top 10. He's definitely better than guys like Darius Garland. But Ja Morant, I'm taking over Tyrese Haliburton. I'm going to say that for a fact, too. But at the end of the day, he's shutting up a lot of critics. I'm not criticizing him for his fourth quarter abilities. but those first 3 quarters, he needs to be better. And honestly, the Pacers team has really picked it up for him in those first 3 quarters. Nembhard, Nesmith, it's easy to win games when Nesmith is hitting these 7 for 8 from 3, man. 7 for 8 from 3. 19 points in the fourth quarter, I believe. Now that's somebody that hasn't got his flowers, man. And that's a guy that Boston drafted, and they couldn't make it work. And then he's gone to Indiana and absolutely been a baller. Indiana has a bunch of low key ballers. Nembhard and Nesmith, Miles Turner, Mathurin. Those guys are those are some SoundCloud rappers that are absolutely banging, man. This is 2015 Uzi, Playboy Cardi, all those guys. They're underground, but they're absolutely, puzzling out banger after banger. But Haliburton, like I said, Tim Tebow of the NBA right now. Anyways, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. I want to know what you think about Tyrese Haliburton. Where do you rank him amongst point guards? To me, barely top 10, but he could definitely rise if he ends up winning a championship or even getting to the finals. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. See you for the next one.